Being here today. I'm Dr. Michael Hix. I'm the head of the voice area at the University of New Mexico, and I would love for my colleagues to introduce themselves.
Hi there, I am Paula Swallen. I am one of the voice instructors here at UNM, and I am an alum of UNM and also a New Mexico native.
I am Professor Jamie Flora. I am brand new to New Mexico and to UNM. This is my first year. I'm excited to be here. My wife and I, Dr. Flora, is the fourth of the four of us, of the four voice faculty at UNM, and we are excited to be in the Southwest. My wife is Cuban, and we wanted to raise our children in a part of the country where Spanish is spoken because we want our daughters to speak Spanish. And we love the desert Southwest. It's such a wonderful place to be an artist, and I think it's a wonderful place to grow artists. So we're excited to be here.
Yeah, so we definitely have Ariana's going to sing for us today, but we would love others to volunteer. We'd love to work with you.
Just so you know, we did have one volunteer already. Maria
Great.
said that she'd like to sing, so uh, we'll have at least those two, and also hopefully Anne Julie shows up as well. We'll see.
Great.
I'll let you know
So,
if that happens.
Maria, would you like to go first?
Um, sure. Yeah.
Wonderful. What would you like to sing for us today?
Let's see. Sorry, I was still deciding.
It's no worries.
Uh, could I sing uh Zontag by Brahms? I think that's by Brahms. I was just about
Yes.
to look up who the composer is.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
great.
yeah, so I've been working on this song. It has a high G and it's a little bit high for me, so I could have some tips for like the high notes. Oh, okay. There's no intro, so um so hab ich doch die ganze Woche mein feines Liebchen nicht gesehen. Ich sah es an einem Sonntag wohl vor der Türe stehen. Das tausend schöne Jungfräulein, das tausend schöne Herzelein. Vater Gott, ich war heute bei ihr. Vater Gott, ich war heute bei ihr. So will mir doch die ganze Woche das Lächeln nicht vergehen. Ich sah es an einem Sonntag wohl in die Kirche gehen. Das tausend schöne Jungfräulein, das tausend schöne Herzelein. Vater Gott, ich war heute bei ihr. Vater Gott, ich war heute bei ihr. Hi.
All right, Maria, that was beautiful. Fantastic job. And thank you so much for volunteering. I think we'll all just take a turn and give you some feedback. First off, how old are you and how long have you been studying voice?
I'm 15. I'm in grade 10. And I've been studying voice, I think, going on maybe 7 years. This is my first German leader. So,
Oh, wow, fantastic. So I just want to commend you on your German diction. You have got a great start. So
okay.
I know it's difficult, but the first time you're working on a language. So I just want to give you a few little tips, and this is going to apply to everyone here because these are things that I really have to remind a lot of singers very regularly. Even some of my undergraduate students and some of my graduate students. Sometimes non-German speakers have trouble with a few sounds. So the one in the second verse, the word church, Kirche, Okay, you said Kirche, and it's the sound is a sound we don't have in English, and that's what makes it tricky for everyone. So I hope everyone's taking notes because you're all going to run across this sound at some point. So the way I teach this sound is angry cat. Okay. Sometimes the mistake people make is like they make a K sound. Sometimes they make an SH sound. But the sound in the word Kirche is. So everyone, let's do it together. Let's do angry cat together. Yeah, Maria, go ahead and unmute yourself so I can hear you do it.
Like
Yeah, yeah. So now do it.
Kirche,
Uh-huh.
Kirche,
Yes. Now do an SH. Shh, shh, shh.
Kirche,
Uh-huh. So that's how a lot of people do it wrong. And then now do Kirche.
Kirche.
Yeah. So you see there's three different sounds. The angry cat one, that's the ich laut. That's the correct one.
Kirche.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
Great.
Now, the tempo for this song, this is probably the fastest tempo I've heard for this song.
Little mess up with my accompanist, but I like it.
Some of my students have actually been importing their sound files for their accompanist into a software program and then like slowing it down so the pianists don't have to re-record it. I don't know how they do it, but it's pretty cool. But even though it was fast, you really had I mean, the tone was beautiful, your language was beautiful, and then that was one thing I wanted to correct, and then there was also one of the words that has an ach laut in it. That's the other sound in German that students often, they either use a K sound or they don't really engage the sound. That ach has to be supported. And it goes by really quickly, so you just have to get really like comfortable and used to that more sort of back sound. So let's say that sound together. Ach.
Ach.
Yes. Yes. That's perfect. I don't have a copy of this right in front of me. Oh, maybe I do. Would you read through the text one more time? Oh, Jamie, you have it. Jamie, can you find the ach laut that was problematic in that?
I think it was lachen, where it was or Woche.
Yeah,
It was
Woche.
it was doch Woche lachen,
Yeah.
and then you have nicht and ich sah.
Mm-hmm. And those two, nicht and ich, those are the angry cat.
Yeah.
So, but Maria, you have a great ear for language, and I can tell you've worked really hard on this. So just keep up the good work. And before I sign off, this is a suggestion for everyone. Okay, this is the way that I work on music with my students. Instead of jumping in and trying to juggle everything all at once, okay, like foreign language diction, rhythm, pitches, the drama of the piece and the story we're telling, and then our vocal technique. Before we start juggling all of those elements, let's just start with one. And I think the one to start with in a foreign language would be practicing speaking the text slowly and with a very smooth legato line. So let's do that from that line with Woche.
So will mir doch die ganze Woche das Lachen nicht vergehen.
Yeah, wow, 3 ach louds in a row. So just speak it very slowly and with a really good sense of legato, Maria.
So will mir doch die ganze Woche mein feines Liebchen nicht vergehen. Or is that the first verse?
You mixed. It's, das Lachen nicht vergehen.
Das Lachen nicht
Das
vergehen.
stimmt genau.
Yeah. I would say exaggerate the das Lach, that sort of snoring sort of feeling. Das Lachen. Exaggerate it just for a moment.
Das Lachen nicht vergehen.
Yeah, great. So when you're learning a new piece of music in a foreign language, speak through it slowly with a good sense of flow. Then learn the rhythms, and speak the text in rhythm. Notice, you haven't sung a note yet. It's just about that sense of legato and speaking the text and then learning the rhythm. Once those are really comfortable, then add the pitches. And it will make your life so much easier. That process is just fantastic. You know, it will always lead to success. So I'm gonna sign off, and I'm gonna ask my colleagues to chime in. Paula, what would you like to add?
Hi there, Maria. Just so beautiful. This is such a fun song. I mean, who doesn't love picking up girls in church? It's really a great piece. And you said you were worried about the high G, and I have to tell you that you're managing it so well. Just
Okay.
really yeah, you've got a lot of things just really lined up. Wonderful. And so the tempo that Brahms suggested, nicht zu langsam, not too slow, can be a little bit slower with your pianist's interpretation. So
Yeah.
when it's relaxed, that will help you a lot, because approaching high notes, um, a lot of it is about what we're doing in the moments before we get there. So a couple of things that I would like to do. Can you just start at the beginning and let's just sing through the first verse? And I would like you to just have a little bit of awareness in the back of your mind as you're singing this first verse of your intake of air as you sing through. Okay?
So hab ich durch die ganze Woche mein feines Liebchen nicht vergehen. Ich sah es an einem Sonntag wohl vor der Türe stehen. Das tausend schöne Jungfräulein, das tausend schöne Herzelein. Vater Gott, ich war heute bei ihr. Vater Gott, ich war heute bei ihr.
Great. Okay, so were there things that you noticed about your intake of air?
It's I've been talking about like the my breaths with my singing teacher. She says that I breathe loudly sometimes. But in that song I noticed sometimes I breathe more than I'd like to, with like continuing a phrase, the placement of it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Right now, I don't have an issue with the number of breaths you're taking, but I do want to draw your attention to the sound that's occurring when you take your breath in. When we hear that, which is not happening every time, it's just sometimes happening with the quicker breaths, that tells us that maybe our throat isn't released. And so we can all do this together. We can feel relaxation in our throat, that we know when we invite that breath into our body, that the throat is just a passive conductor of air. So let's do that together. It's a lovely feeling. We love that relaxation. We're singing, we're engaging the vocal fold, and then we allow that breath into our body and we release and relax our vocal fold. So I wonder if you can have that mindful thought and just maybe sing through that first verse again, just being mindful of the sound when you have that intake of air.
All right. So hab ich durch die ganze Woche mein feines Liebchen nicht vergehen. Ich sah es an einem Sonntag wohl vor der Türe stehen. Das tausend schöne Jungfräulein, das tausend schöne Herzelein. Vater Gott, ich war heute bei ihr. Vater Gott, ich war heute bei ihr.
Good
Some
for
of them,
you.
but yeah.
What did you think?
I kept my headphones on this time, so I can hear my singing through my headphones with my microphone, and I could hear my breath sometimes, but some of them were very silent. So
Yeah, good for you. We distract ourselves, I think, sometimes when we are working with the muscles in our larynx and our neck, you know, in our jaw and our tongue. We feel like I'm working really hard to, you know, do energetic breath with my singing. But really what happens is we focus all our energy here, and then the torso and you know, the intercostals and the abdominal muscles just kind of hang out. They're like, okay, well, if you guys are doing all the work, I'm not going to do anything down here. So by releasing this, by having that open feeling, sometimes they engage more. So I'd encourage you even to maybe take this song completely out of rhythm and just take those easy breaths, sing a phrase, take an easy breath, sing a phrase. So you're rehabilitating that feeling of what it's like to coordinate the muscles with the easy breath, and then put it back into tempo, and I'll bet your body will remember what to do.
okay, thank you.
Nice. Yeah, good for you. Beautiful, beautiful job.
Thank you.
Maria, it was beautiful. Really good. Really good. One other word I wanted to say, it's Jungfräulein. Normally it would be Fraulein, but it's Fräulein with an oi, because the dot over the A makes it an E. An EU in German just spells oi. I don't know why. That's what they do. That's just what they do. So a thing to think about is how similar German is to English. When I teach my students German song, or when we talk about diction, I say that English is German working words with French or Latin idea words. Okay? So hab ich doch. So have I. The only word that doesn't make sense is doch and die ganze. And those are ideas. Doch is but, and die ganze is all, and then week, Woche, week. Again, another working word. Now, the problem with English and German is that they have this kind of seesaw rhythm, diga, 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 which doesn't help you make that beautiful Italian line that your voice really wants to make. Do you feel the stretch of your voice? That's how those G's happen. And if you want them to feel easy so that you're not afraid of them, we have to, what I call, Italianize the German. And I think that goes back to what Dr. Hix and Professor Swellen both were talking about how you're taking the breath and then how you say the line. And so one thing that I encourage my students to do is I encourage them, as they take the breath, to feel what I call, I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I'm going to use some kinesthetic language with you, to feel the bite and the bowl. So when you take that breath, you feel the entire length of your pharynx. So you get that edgy feeling that's right here, like when you're biting something, and you feel right here. Here's my clavicle, and you see that place get wide there, and then my jaw releases, and then that's how I know my throat is open, and then I know, so that you can wind up. So if you have that, if you want to stay this tempo, if you like it, fine. I might not. I might go slower, like Dr. Hix and Professor Swellen suggested. But if you want to go that fast, it's just got to be. And you can just practice that. You don't have to sing a note. Feel the bite, feel the bowl, and then stretch through. So I want to do that with speaking, and I want to go back to that verse that was hard, because guess what? Achlauts and ichlauts interrupt that line, which make it hard to get the stretch of your voice going. So what we want is this buzziness that almost whines when we speak. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So will mir doch die ganze Woche das Lachen nicht vergehen. Sorry, I'm sight reading. Do you hear that zzz that happens in my voice the whole time?
Yeah, a little bit.
You want me to do it again?
Sure, yeah.
So will mir doch die ganze Woche das Lachen nicht vergehen. You hear that zzz that happens?
Yeah.
Okay. You do that when you sing. Now that doesn't mean nasal, but I heard you say the word placement. And I don't love the word placement, but I love when the voice finds pockets to ring in. Okay? And I think feeling your bite in your bowl and then letting that zzz happen all the time. So what I'd like to do first is I think let's try a V. And can you go but feel the bite, feel the bowl, and just sing it on a V and feel that buzz that's going to tickle your face and your nose.
Sorry.
Good, 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 good. But you're having trouble with one thing, and that is you're used to hearing the piano go plink, 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 and it's percussive. Instead, can you stretch? So take that breath like you're winding up and drawing your bow or drawing a slingshot so that you get this. Let's try that.
Sorry, right.
That was good though. But do you hear how much sound you were making?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's put that same feeling. I can sing better than I can play. Here we go.
So will mir doch die ganze Woche das Lachen nicht vergehen.
Brava.
Okay.
Brava. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you hear how then you could support the achlaut into the vowel?
Yeah, it felt a lot like smoother and just more.
Yes, ma'am.
legato.
That's called legato.
Yeah.
And you want that. See, here's a secret. You want that, okay? That makes you sound really good. Here's why. I'm a nerd and I like science. And when you have legato, that means that the formant is uninterrupted. And if you have a ringy space, then you get what I call the acoustic snowball. And I like loud sounds because I don't know, again, I'm a nerd. And when you keep that buzz going, it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds so that you get that acoustic snowball and your voice carries and rides and surfs literally over the orchestra without a mic. Okay?
Yeah.
But you got to feel that stretch. The voice is made with a stretch. It's never made with a percussive motion. Even though it sounds percussive, especially when we sing in English and when we sing in German, because those are percussive languages, right? But if we make it, I'm sorry, my texts are connected to my computer and I can't shut them off. I've tried. But if you make a constant stretch like you do when you have Italian, when you have French, and when you have Spanish, and you put that into these Teutonic languages, these herky-jerky languages like English and German, then it makes that smooth and uninterrupted formant that allows that acoustic snowball. And then you don't run out of breath. And you really need that for these long, long phrases. But you're making them. But maybe if you make them this way, you won't have to a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you try that to start that, and then we should probably move on? Can we start this? I want to hear that first, just because I know it's synced up with the piano. So let's just try that first verse. And can you try to make that buzz happen the entire time?
Okay. With the accompaniment?
Yeah, let's try.
All right.
Let's try. Swing with your breath. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I inherited this from my father. He's a band director. He'd always talk right before he'd get ready to start. Swing with your breath. So hab ich doch. So hab.
Okay. So hab ich durch die ganze Woche mein feines Liebchen nicht gesehen. Ich saß an einem Sonntag wohl vor der Tür stehen. Das tausend schöne Jungfräulein, das tausend schöne Herzelein. Warte Gott, ich war heute bei ihr. Warte Gott, ich war heute bei ihr.
Brava. Brava.
Okay, yeah,
Good.
that sounds better.
Yeah,
I
fantastic
noticed
job,
that.
Maria. Fantastic job.
Good job. Thank
Do you
you.
have, yeah, do you have any questions for
Thank
us,
you guys so
Maria?
much.
Yeah, do you have any questions for us before we have Ariana sing for us?
None that come to mind, but this has been really helpful.
Well, it was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to work with
I have an
you and
exam in
hear
a couple
you.
weeks, and I've just been trying to like get this. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was a pleasure to work with you. Very, very fine job. All right, let's hear Ariana.
Hello. My name can you hear me okay? Okay, beautiful. My name is Ariana Perutz, and today I will be singing Willow Song from the Ballad of Baby Doe by Douglas Moore.
Bravo. So I have one suggestion regarding your technology. Do you have the original sound enabled?
I don't. I'm on an iPad,
Oh,
unfortunately.
that's the problem.
If you want,
You're
I can
singing
like move
so
the iPad away.
you're singing so resonantly, and there's like so much acoustic energy, and then those high notes, they just sort of cut out in the recording.
Oh, okay.
But we still have lots of stuff we can help you with, even though we don't necessarily those high notes aren't necessarily coming through. It's obvious that those are pretty easy for you though. So I would love for Paula to start.
Yeah, so I was just looking for my score, but that's okay. Um, uh, I would love for you to tell me about your experience of just singing this song. How has it been approaching it, learning it, singing it, performing it, etc.?
So I was introduced to this song maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Obviously, I wasn't ready to sing it yet, but I really just fell in love with the whole melody of it. I love the Ballad of Baby Doe. It was challenging at first, kind of preparing those high notes ahead of time. But then once I kind of got that in line a little bit more, I've had a great time singing this song. Sometimes the breath support can be a little bit tricky and challenging, especially with these really long phrases. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is a very disjunct melody in many places, and for all of us, that presents difficult breath management issues. And so that would be one of my thoughts about taking this to the next level. It reminds me of some of the pieces that my students work on with, in the Straussian kind of family. Again, it has disjunct melodic information. So we're going from low to high all over our range throughout different register shifts, etc. So what do we do? I think one of the first things we can do is very carefully map our phrases. So how are we going to phrase within each one of the sentences that the composer gives us, and then the way that the composer has set those two melodies. How do we find what is important? How do we match that up with the melodic information and the harmonic information? Of course, at the heart of it is the character. At the heart of it is our interpretation of what Baby Doe is going through,
Mm.
and our communication with the audience so that they understand her and empathize with her as well. Because hers is it's not a, it's a difficult and sad story. So, who is she speaking to in this moment?
So in this moment, she's actually by herself. So she's just singing to herself. But Horace is outside and overhears her through the window.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you think with this aria you are working for the audience to know about you?
I think maybe that I'm a little bit genuine, because Baby Doe's genuineness comes into question several times throughout the opera. It's a question of, well, did she know who Horace was before she came to town? I mean, she's taking this man from his wife, and it's kind of a tricky spot to be in. So I think this is kind of a moment of, well, I'm just human too, and I have feelings and emotions, and I don't know, a little genuine.
And what kind of piece would you say this is?
What kind of piece?
I mean, it's an aria, but we could maybe even put it into another genre.
Oh, I don't really know. Maybe like a character piece, like, well, not really, because I don't know.
So I'd even maybe say it's like a folk song, right?
Oh, okay.
It's simple words. It's got, a simple message. So that definitely goes along with what you were saying, that this is a way for the audience to know that she's a a genuine, somewhat simple person. She's not just a fancy schmancy wife's husband stealer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now another difficult question: what do the ahs mean? There was a lot of vocalies in this. So
Yeah.
what does that mean?
To me, it means a little bit of nostalgia because I feel like this song is very nostalgic. So I think in the beginning, it's recalling Willow. I mean, Willow's not a real character in the opera, but I think that's what it is in this case. And then at the end, it's like mixed with a little bit of melancholy for not being with him.
Sure. So I think that you want the audience to get to that point, but I want to challenge you in your continued work on this to be much more specific, to have literal subtext for each one of the vocalises. So finding words, maybe even writing words, writing text for yourself that underscore what each one of those vocalises are. Does he love me? Are we going to be together? Is this really going to happen?
Yeah.
People hate me, but here I am. So,
Okay.
because otherwise it's just right?
Yeah.
And then when you're singing those phrases, we're always finding what is the goal of the phrase, So tell me the text of the first line that you sing. Just speak it for me.
Willow, when we met together.
Okay. So what to you is the most important word in that phrase?
Willow. His name. And then maybe secondarily together.
Okay. Yeah, and then I might even say met, because that's
Okay.
Yeah. So there are
Yeah.
lots of different ways that you can spin that. Let's try. I don't know if you can catch it in your track, but you could just sing it for me. So let's see. What's your starting pitch?
I think it's an F.
Okay. There's
Yeah.
an F, and if you could sing that for me, can you make met the peak of your phrase?
Sure. Willow, when we met together.
No. Okay, so that might have dynamically been the peak. Can you connect it a little bit more? So Willow, when we met together. Yeah.
Willow, when we met together.
Yeah, and I still feel like ga, like the high note is maybe the dynamic peak right now, but you can play with this on your own. So it's about energy management.
Okay.
Never being content to just sustain a tone. That there's always some sort of motion. We're either growing or intensifying or releasing. That there's always a shaping going on with the way that you are singing these pieces. And it seems harder to do this. It seems like this is going to be more difficult work, but it actually relieves us, because just holding a note is one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
So will you do this for me? This is work you'll do on your own, experimenting, playing. It's play. It's not like, you can play with it.
Definitely.
As you do this, you'll find the things that you love, and then you're going to have your audience just, Thank you so much. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, beautiful. I just have one tiny idea.
Okay.
The high D. What dynamic level would you say you were singing that at?
Louder than I should have. I was probably singing it maybe mezzo forte plus. I should have been singing it more piano.
Well, I mean, in some contexts, you have to sing the high notes the way they feel good and the way they're going to be successful.
Yeah.
There's pieces of music where the composer has written piano on a high note, and I just couldn't do it. I just had to sing it and be successful. And No one docked my pay. You know, they didn't make
Yeah.
me give them $100 of my contract fee back. Um, but from a perspective of registration, would you say that you're singing that note in the very top of your head voice, or are you in whistle register by that point?
It's just about whistle register by that point. I don't really sing above an E right now. The F is like half there,
Yeah.
so it's
Do,
it's pretty up there.
yeah, yeah. So I think that if um, we couldn't necessarily hear the pitch, but just from seeing it, it looked more difficult than I think it should be for you. So I think that you should probably go towards a more whistle-oriented production, which requires less breath pressure. Okay, so whistle is it's a weird animal. I tried to learn to do male whistle register. I haven't figured it out yet. But I keep experimenting. Oh yeah, Professor Flora can do it. I've heard him do it.
Wow.
Yeah, his like your Jamie, your little your trumpet squealy thing that you do. Yeah. So I mean it's like yeah, it's not actually real singing. If we were to scope you, your vocal folds don't vibrate in the same ways they do in head voice. Okay, they're a little bit more rigid, and then like the breath flow can't disrupt that rigidity. So
Interesting.
yeah, so I would encourage you to actually think about a diminuendo and releasing the amount of breath pressure for that high note. Let's just try it
Okay.
once.
Some people
Um,
have success too with semi-occluded work.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm,
yeah, that would totally help the registration.
mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
fantastic idea, Paula. Let's do it on a lip trill first. Um,
Okay.
there's the D.
Mhm.
Rita. Great, 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 great. Now make sure your head's on straight. Your head was a little crooked, so just find your balance.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looked a little bit more peaceful. Now do it with the text, but feel the sense of diminuendo to the top note, like you're going for a piano sensation of breath pressure.
Okay. Willow, if you want should I'm weeping too.
Yeah. So the sound does cut out, so I wasn't sure how successful it was, but from your experience, was it easier?
It was a little bit easier, but I'm just still confused by whistle register. Honestly, it's very much a mystery to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for some people it's really easy, and for others, it's sort of elusive. But I think that it's about sort of finding. It's about playing around with it. Like
Mhm.
experimenting.
I
Yeah.
wonder if something else that might help, and you know, don't worry about doing this now, but when you're playing, maybe just monitoring that you're not going this way with the corners of your mouth when you get up
Oh,
there. So just letting this relax. And that I found propels into that upper register. When we spread, we tend to stay in the head voice.
okay.
Cool.
Can I add to that? So I'm a big believer, and my students all hear me say this all the time. I say, and it has a caveat to begin. If the breath is right, if the breath is right, which I think your breath is right. I think you know what to do with the breath. Structure is function. You make a shape, and then that will send the breath where it needs to go. So
Okay.
what I'm more worried about is not so much the width that you get on the D. It's that you don't have width at the bottom, which means you're not stabilizing all the way through the instrument. And,
Hmm.
and the notes before on the vowels E are already spread. So then you can't get into the open position. So I'm a nerd. I say that there are 4 parts of a yawn, and a yawn is how you open your pharynx physiologically. The first part is what we do at the very bottom of our voice, which gets us into our chest voice only without any mix. And that's what I call the gather. We make that shape. Can you see the shape that I'm making? That shape.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
And then we stretch. It's a little open. And that's how we sing in our middle voice, right? Every voice teacher wants you to be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we get above our middle voice and we start to just continue that opening. Long. And then if you want to engage whistle, you have to do what I call Pavarotti mouth, which is square. It's kind of like spreading, but it's not spreading. So watch. And it's what we do when we yawn. So I'm going to yawn. Gather.
Oh.
And then I wrap around. So you have to do what I call fang and wrap. So if you want, I can't think. Should bear it hiding, pray tell him I am. And then you're back on your thing. But do you understand what I'm? So you got to really manage your shape. You got to manage your structure as you go through. The other thing I would say is remember who this was written for. This was written for, now I can't think of her name. All I can think is Bubbles. What's her real name?
Beverly Sills.
Beverly Sills. Sorry. See, it's just like Bubbles.
Oh.
It's her nickname. Beverly Sills. She was the consummate bel canto soprano. What does that mean? That means that her voice spun as true as the North Star on the subdivision of the pitch. What do I mean by that? I mean, you can count the revolutions of 16th notes on every note that she sings. So I would like you to start that phrase before and do, oh, oh, when we met together. Do you hear my voice is ringing very steadily?
Mm-hmm.
You could take dictation because you could count the 16th notes. Okay? That's what I hear from you.
Okay.
Can you start that again? Just for that phrase when you go up and man it. So 2 things. I'm asking you to do 2 things at once because I think you're smart. I think you're smart. So you're going to do 2 things at once. You're going to stay gathered until the money note. And then you're going to be a lion. And that jaw is going to relax back. You're going to feel the breath sit in the bowl and be gentle and rock in the bowl like a baby in the cradle because of the breath action, okay?
Okay.
But you got to stay there. And it's going to be made easier if I can take dictation for every 16th note that you're singing. Oh, when we met. Do you hear my 16th notes? That's what I want. Here we go. Go, go, go.
Okay. Oh, willow, what we met. If you want, should we?
Good. You did half. But you thought you forgot at B, re. And then you weren't in position to jump, okay? Because the big jump is just like jumping. And if I stand, here, I'll show you. If I stand up and I'm like this, I can't jump.
Yeah.
I've got to stay gathered
Okay.
till I get to my square.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, I think so. So is that right before the high D, or is it at the beginning and then we open up to it?
On the T, get your square. But this has to open too, so watch. You're going, and this doesn't get wide.
Mm-hmm.
See the difference in the shape?
Yeah, I do. Okay.
And this is hard, but I think you can do it. You already did the spin. Wasn't that already easier to move through?
Very much so.
I don't even think you have to breathe after Willow. If you want to take that comma, bless you. But I don't think you have to. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes.
If he wants, and I said the wrong words, which messed you up, and for that I'm sorry. If he wants should be retiring. Let's try. Let's just practice saying that.
Okay.
Willow, if he wants should be retiring.
Okay.
You feel that?
Yeah.
Okay. Find your pitch.
Willow, if you want should
That seems better to me.
I feel like it was almost there, but it wasn't quite there.
So when you rap, you can't come off the breath.
Okay.
If you fang, the plunger is down, right? You're really supporting, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to stay on it even though you rap. That's the only thing that will propel you through.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I think that's probably what happened.
Yeah, I think you were like, "Oh, I'm done with the D." Okay. And then you can't be done until you breathe, okay?
Okay.
And as you come down, you have to energize the breath down as you portamento down.
Okay.
Okay? If Willow,
if you want should be. That felt awesome, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So you have so much resonance, like Dr. Hix said, that it cuts out a little bit. We hear the formant, we hear the core of it, but then it goes away and then it comes back. But the way your body moved seemed the most relaxed that I've seen you do it. And it seemed like you knew what to do. You had something to do rather than, I hope this day works, which, believe me, I spent my 20s that way, singing high notes. And so I get that.
Yeah.
But that just means you're tough. That just means you're tough. Do it anyway, and that's good. But now you have something to do. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. That was really helpful.
I think you'll find the F in the same way.
Really? Okay.
But you got to stay gathered at least under C, and probably maybe under C sharp. In your voice has to stay narrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to find either between B and C or C and C sharp, and your voice will then be where the square mouth has to happen.
Okay.
Stretch and vibrate. It can't stop vibrating. If it stops vibrating, it won't work.
Fantastic job, Ariana.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Oh yes, thank you, Paula. Paula put in our email addresses. If you have any questions, if you would like to know more about University of New Mexico, we offer fantastic scholarships. We offer lots of scholarships to both undergraduate students and prospective graduate students. And most students receive in-state tuition. All graduate students pay in-state tuition, so you don't have to pay out-of-state tuition. And undergraduates, if you have a certain GPA, you receive in-state tuition. And I'll tell you, the tuition at University of New Mexico is incredibly low. It's among the lowest in the country. Our state supports the educational system here really well, and as a result, we are able to offer great scholarships. In addition, we have fantastic music scholarships. If you're interested in being a music educator, we have additional scholarships on top of your audition sort of music department voice audition scholarship. There are fantastic resources here. So we would love to talk with you further about our program, and we would love to hear from you. If you would like to know more about some of the things that our faculty talked about today, feel free to email us. We'd love to give you a sample voice lesson. You know, we had just a few minutes here and there with the two singers today. We would love to do more.
Yeah, that's great. I think this has been a really great class. We might have time for just like one, maybe two questions. If anybody has any, you're welcome to raise your hand or you can put it in the chat if you'd prefer. But just, yeah, maybe let us know if you have any questions.
Yeah, any questions, anyone?
You all want to see what some of our students are doing too. We will be coming out soon with our spring opera production. So it's a two-part thing. We did Dido et Aeneas and Signor Deluso, which they just did an outdoor performance of today. So it was filmed and that will be produced on virtually soon. And I'll actually put a link on the CS Music site so you can look for it there or on our Facebook pages too.
That's fantastic. Yes, thank you. And thank you everyone for being here today. Really appreciate University of New Mexico being here, all three of you, and as well as our singers. Just beautiful talent. Loved hearing it.
Fantastic. Thank you
very
all.
much.
You guys have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks,
Good night.
Jamie. Thanks,
Bye,
Paula.
thank you.